we talked about Messi last week, didn't we? Or 2 weeks ago, I should say. And now it's all about Cristiano Ronaldo. Those two just keep pushing each other on, pushing the boundaries of greatness.
Exactly. And would they have been able, that's the question that I always ask myself, would they have been able to do this and keep this up, the relentlessness that they've shown without each other? If they was out on their own, no one else around, would they continue to have done this? That's the question.
I think they probably do add to the motivation.
Yeah, 100%. I think all the great sportsmen in the world have always had that someone else to feed off. And I think this is another great rivalry in football. They don't talk about it. Seems like there's a bit of a respect between them. They don't ever mention each other really, but they're just phenomenal to watch. And people try and make comparisons of who's better, etc. Just enjoy them, man. We're lucky
very
to be
different footballers as well in many ways. What makes one better than the other?
Yeah, forget the comparisons. Yeah. They're setting standards. We're taking them for granted. We're expecting goals in big games to change games. They do it week in, week out. They're out on their own. As you say, completely different, but enjoy them. And even though they give off a different persona from the outside, and we see them differently, that hunger is the same. It just looks differently from the outside. Yeah. They're both pushed on. They both want to beat each other, which has created this monster in both of them.
Yeah.
They both deliver at the right time. They both deliver in big games. We've seen them score in Champions League finals, in huge matches all over the world. They're different footballers. One's diminutive, one's a kind of Adonis, but they give so much to the game.
Yeah, they do, and they create highlight reel after highlight reel after highlight reel, and it's just phenomenal. Just each game, even at the weekend just gone, Messi comes off the bench, rescues the game for Barcelona. They're doing it week in, week out, and we talk about players that get to the top. There's many players that get there and stay there for a year or two. Yeah. These lot have been there for 10, 12 years doing it, and when you look back and you start looking at the stats, like we said before the game, he's almost, I think he's a goal off 650 goals, Ronaldo. That is more than I had appearances. How about you? Similar?
Yeah, similar.
It's like, it's ridiculous. So to see it when you put it down like that, these guys are just breaking.
It's difficult for everybody else. You can't live with that. When individuals that good in a team, it makes it very hard for every other team to deal with.
You can talk about players from different eras, and that's kind of unfair as well because things change in the game. Yeah. The pitches are much better now that they play on. The facilities are better. The diet, everything is much better, isn't it now?
Yeah.
So it's hard to compare players from different generations, but the numbers, the statistics of these two are truly extraordinary.
Yeah, that's what stands out. And the game is a lot quicker, I have to say now. So these things probably level themselves out. Great players in different eras will be great players anyway. But as you say, the numbers make a difference. People can overlook stats. You can't. They smack you in the face. Yeah. The stats are incredible. To say that he's scored more goals than appearances for Real Madrid, 650. I mean, that's abnormal.
I mean, I don't want to butter you up too much, you two guys, but you two world-class players, and you sit there, and we watch players, and you're thinking. You're in awe of them in many ways, and they're at a different level to world class. Yeah,
you can't look at that. Yeah. Like, they're up there somewhere, and all the other players in the world don't care what their egos are saying and what they think of themselves. They're looking up there going, I wish, and I can't get to that level. They ain't going to get to that level. It's like Frank said, it's abnormal. But what I would say about what it gives a team when you've got a player like that in your team, the confidence that spreads throughout the team that we do our jobs right, we just get it right ourselves, keep the back door shut, no goals against. He will score us a goal. He'll get us a chance minimum.
I remember when I played against Diego Maradona and met him on a couple of occasions, obviously the 86, the World Cup game where, not the handball goal, the other goal. It was the one time in my whole career where I felt like I ought to applaud. I mean, you get those sort of moments of players having a respect for genius. Yeah,
and sorry to interrupt, Frank, but them type of goals, like, as a football fan, I remember the commentary on that goal. You know, that turns, a little squat man, like, you remember things like that. It's like today, people remember where they were when that goal went in, and likewise, Zidane goal in the Champions League final. These goals create great memories, and you remember that occasion and that time, what you was doing, what you was wearing, etc. Unbelievable.
I think, well, I can't split them at the moment, but I think they are over all the eras. And we see old videos, it's not easy to compare, but the ruthlessness, not just the ability, but the hunger and the ruthless finishing.
And the longevity.
Longevity, game after game, year after year, scoring in important games, things that we take for granted. It's not been done before to this level.
Is there any chance he's actually getting better, rather than just merely maintaining this phenomenal standard?
I think there's been a great debate over the last few years with him and Messi. But I think over the last 6 months, I think he's gone on to another level. I think he's out there on his own. The way he started the World Cup, the way he finished last season. How many times can we say it about him? His improvement, his attitude. And I think a lot of it is not natural ability for Ronaldo, as brilliant as he is. I think it's just sheer hard work, determination, desire to live for the goal, courage. He's got a lot of courage, wants to get in there, he's brave. I've said it before, the guy's a genius.
And so you put him slightly above Messi today,
I think his form at the moment, over the last few months, the way he started the World Cup, I'd have him ahead of Messi, and I never thought I'd say that because I love Messi as well.
This is some debate. Look at Slav. Slav's twitching over there.
I'm calm as whatever.
I just think that what he's proven, and going into the World Cup with the pressure that he was under, you know, people saying that this is his 4th World Cup, and he's not really performed as well as he could do. But like the way he started this World Cup with the Portuguese team, I thought they started pretty well. You know, even today they wouldn't say they were great. I thought Morocco pressured them hard. But the fact is that he has shown that it's not just ability. It is hard work, and he seems to be getting the fruits of all the hard work that he's put in down the years. Patrice is talking about the food and what he's eating, the salad, the drinking. He looks like somebody who will not put anything that's not going to benefit him inside his body.
Oh, great player. One of the greatest things about him is that he changed the way he plays. And I bet you it wasn't a coach or a manager who told him, listen, Ronaldo, you can't play anymore like that. You have to change. You have to be closer to inside. It's him. It's him. And he changed his game in a time when he was still one of 2 best players in the world. Yeah. He said, no, maybe I'm losing it. I don't have legs to go on the left side. It's too far. He went inside and he's becoming better and better.
Is he better than Messi today?
Roy said, good, it's pointless debate. No, we can talk who is in a better form. Obviously, he started the World Cup not better than Messi, better than anyone else. But
it's a fun debate.
What are you saying?
It's a fun debate. Me, I'm Messi.
Say something.
For me, it's Messi.
You're Messi.
I am Messi because I told you.
The last 2 years.
What, the last 2 years? Better. Messi won the league with 20 points difference. He scored, I don't know, 40 or 50 goals this season. They're both of them. Exactly. It's about stage or whatever.
Slav, I just think that with Ronaldo as well, with the fact that he's been to different leagues and he's taken himself out of his comfort zone. You know,
so Messi has to leave Barcelona to...
No, I'm not saying that, because when Messi was younger, he had to leave Argentina, you know what I mean? He's in Rosario, wherever he was, and come to Barcelona. He had to take his hormone tablet, all this kind of thing, the injections he had to have. Yes, he left that comfort zone, but Ronaldo, when he left Portugal, and when he left Sporting Lisbon, even when he went to Man United, I heard the guy saying that he had a year where they said you can go back, but he wanted to come, he wanted to prove.
Well, that's interesting, didn't he? He did want to go, as Rian said, straight away, didn't he? There was no sort of, well, bye you, Manchester United, you can stay in Lisbon for a year. He went, no, I want to prove myself today.
That option was given to him at 17 years of age to stay on loan at Lisbon, but no, the guy stuck his chest out and said, no, I want to go over there. And if you remember when he first went to United, of course, as a young kid, he was getting criticised for going down too easily, saying that he still does that. Let's be fair, he's not perfect, but his end product, his final delivery and all that's just come to him. And listen, it's a good debate to have, but his form at the moment, he has just took a step, in my opinion, ahead of everyone.
It's the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, isn't it? What is your taste at the end of the day?
Well,
that's what it is.
You say what's your taste, but I think that in years to come, when we've been fortunate enough to be able to watch these two at the height of their powers for a long time now, and I think that in years to come, the way Ronaldo's been in the last year, whatever, he'll probably pinch it. He'll probably get the vote over Messi for me.
In the early years, maybe not. In the first couple of years, didn't think he would reach those heights. But then I think after 2005-06, when he started becoming, his body just completely transformed from being quite thin and skinny to being completely different, and his goal scoring, his decision making, maturity. At that point, once you saw him sort of playing at that level, then you thought, wow, that 2006 to 2008 was unbelievable.
That's the most amazing thing, is goal scoring. It's unbelievable to turn into like a winger who used to beat men and more often making goals rather than scoring goals. To have the goal scoring record that he's got is unbelievable.
Coming back from the 2006 World Cup was the one moment that I remember him just completely changing. That just for me, when obviously the big incident with Wayne Rooney, coming back as somebody who was hated nationally, bad reputation with the newspapers, etc. But just seemed to mature overnight, and his body completely changed. And in that instance, I felt that's where the sort of big change was for me. It wasn't a particular moment in a football match.
Yeah, mine was a goal he scored against Porto, and it was about 40 yards out. It was unbelievable goal. To go back to Portugal against one of his rivals as he was growing up, to score that goal, I mean, there's 3 or 4 times on a pitch where I've gone wow, and that was one of them.
He had so much confidence. Even you know, Gary said his first 2 years when he was developing, he knew that where he was going to end, and he was going to end up to be probably one of the best players in the world, because he had that unbelievable confidence, the ability, the vision, and an unbelievable work ethic. He didn't just get there by natural talent, he get there by the amount of hours he used to put in on the training pitch. And when you see him now deliver what he's delivered, and obviously remember the work that he used